Hello. Yeah, sorry about the glare on the book there. I'll try and cover that up. Well, you can probably tell what I'm sort of going to talk about. Yeah, I've been rummaging around recently, and I sort of got onto a bit of a sort of a. Several people got started referring back to the English Civil War, and it's got me. It's got me fixated on the Civil War again, and it's just sort of yeah, and it's one of those things. It's one of the I'd started wanting, yeah, quite a while ago. We're talking about 2016. This is basically what had got me back into wargaming. So I'd got the rule book, and yeah, and I think this had come out later. I'd got the rule book, and I'd been wanting to try and write a few short stories based on based on the English Civil War. I'd wanted to try and do like almost like a Pulp Fiction adventure sort of thing, based in that period, with the backdrop of the Civil War, uh, and to help sort of visualize things a bit better. I wanted to get in. I thought, hey, I'd known about some of this sort of stuff, and yeah, I think I'd originally been looking at the Warhammer Historical stuff, but soon realised that I think by that time, about 4 years previous, I think they'd sort of stopped supporting the historical line, and I think a lot of folks. It must have been that time when they'd started swapped over to start up Warlord Games. So this seemed sort of like a better idea, and they'd got all the miniatures already themselves sort of started. So I'd sort of got into doing that. So yeah, but yeah, I'd got the rule book, proper job hardback, uh, To Kill a King. This was a supplement that came a bit later because I think there's a copyright of 2017, and I have a feeling that was about probably September time that year that came out. I think I got that on a pre-order. Must have come with a model, but can't remember where the model's gone because I've been having a bit of a look, and I'd had a good old rummage around in several places trying to find it, and well, I can't. But yeah, I've sort of got into a bit of a fixation with the Civil War again. I spent much of last night, lost a bit of sleep. I'd got an appointment this morning. Everything's all right, but yeah, I'd got an appointment for a bit of a health checkup, and I'd sort of gone feeling a bit rough just because I'd not slept well. But yeah, and I'd been looking at sort of metal models for the Civil War. Then once I'd got home, I'd sort of thought, well, it's probably a good idea me trying to look up the Pike and Shotte stuff. I knew these two books were on my bookshelves. I think you've probably seen them in the background of some of the videos and stuff. But yeah, so yeah, sorry about the glare, trying to block a bit of that out. It's a bit of an impromptu video. I'd got a load of stuff out, sorted through it, and yeah, I'm under just using my main room light at the moment. But yeah, I've got one of their old boxes of dragoons that I'd got at the time, and yeah, the horses are plastic, and you got the 12 horses. But yeah, you'd got dismounted, got drummer, flag bearer. You got a dozen of them, and the mounted bodies. Hats are separate. But yeah, I've got a sort of yeah. So I've got this lot because I talk about a sort of a bit of, but yeah, the old bits box, and don't know where this came from. I think a friend had given me the movement tray, 25 zombies, and I'd got it before I'd sort of even looked anywhere near any wanting any undead. But yeah, this is all sort of from some of the old kits and stuff. Because I'm glad I've got some of I've got some of the spare muskets and stuff in here. Because part of the thing is, these are either wheel locks or matchlocks. Hold on. Flint locks or something. Because I'm glad I've got some spares. Because I was having a bit of a look through. Don't knock the thing on the floor. Nearly did. Because I found, yeah, this is the box. I think the rulebook came in this box, and I found, because I thought a lot of the army was in this box itself, but there we go. But I'd only found these inside, and it's mostly partially built frames and stuff. But most of them do come with matchlocks, and you probably can't quite. On the firing mechanism, you can probably tell there's a bit of frayed string involved and stuff, but I've only seemed to have enough to do matchlock musketeers. But I think there'd been, hold on, 52 muskets and 58 bodies. So having the spare in the box is pretty good. But I've got some spare hats and stuff. I quite like the slouch hats best. But, I'm sort of going, this is real nostalgia for me, sort of stuff. But, there we go. One thing I'd sort of, because I've been looking through this as well here. And in this box I'd also found my bolt action French army. I've done a separate video that. It might already be uploaded. Filmed it already, but yeah. And I think this is most of the stuff from the main box set, that King and Country box. Because, I know that came with cavalry and infantry. Well, a lot of it's built up, excluding them being on bases. Because I didn't know how. I'd not decided what to do with them base-wise, but I've got a load of pikemen, and I think that's a matchlock. I'm looking through, because I'm just thinking it's like, well, he's got that's better known for being a covenanter. I'm not sure why I stuck the arms on like that. Yeah. Well, yeah. Because I think I've got most of. There's the drummer. But yeah, got a load of the pikemen. I think that's a musketeer. Maybe that shows up better on camera, but I know these came with firelock. One of the I don't know, firelocks. With the they've got the firelock at Assault Squad. That's what the Warlord Games crew call them. But there's another drummer there. I'm going to have a good old look through these and see what's what. A better look, at least. Because I'd sort of got really it's almost a fixation sort of thing, but I sort of got really, because around my parts around here, there was a certain Sir John Gell, and he'd been a bit of he'd been very ruthless, and it sounds like he was quite ruthless before the war and stuff in business concerns and stuff. But he was quite famous for wanting to climb the ranks in the army and stuff. Saw it as an advantage. Saw it as an advantage, a way of a series of opportunities to take advantage of. And I don't think he made himself very popular because, But I'd sort of wanted to try and do like a company or a regiment from his stuff, because I know he'd started out with about 120 men from Hull when he'd finally got command, and they were equipped from the Irish stores, so they would have probably had the mid-grey uniforms. So that's roughly about a company or whatever. So the company of foot, but So thinking about trying to do like my understanding of an early war organisation for a company of men. I seem to remember that I think the ideal was that there were twice as many musketeers as there were pikemen by the end of the Civil War, or civil wars, because they split it into the thoughts I know. Let's split it into a trilogy to sell more civil wars or whatever, Bad joke that, but trying to do the whole time is an invention of clock companies to sell more clocks. But split a civil war into 3 parts to sell more civil wars. I'd sort of wanted. But I think at the beginning of the war, they were lucky to try and get an equal number of. They started out with an equal number of pikemen and musketeers in a company, 100 men in a company, and then 10 companies in a whole regiment. And so trying to. So it's trying to sort of perhaps split these lot up, and sort of getting a bit fixated with the Civil War again. And I'm still wondering why I've got 2 drummers over here. There's one there, one down here, and it looks like I've not got anything else. I don't know. Yeah. I'll have to have a better look. John Gell had mainly got an infantry of foot, but there seems to be it seems to have got a regiment of horse at the Battle of Hopton Heath. That was only sort of tentatively under his command because he was busy with the whole battlefield. But there was a guy who. I think that there was a captain, was it a Saunders? And Saunders and Gell hated each other, apparently. And there are still letters that, show that they hated each other and stuff. But, So, apparently they'd had, but John Gell, he's got the whole yellow flags and stuff under his, on his regiment. But so I'll have to see where I go with all this. So stay safe, stay groovy.